ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أدى الأمانة وبلغ الرسالة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد عباد الله، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلوات الله وسلامه عليه، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أعاذني الله وإياكم من النار وأهل النار. يقول المولى عز وجل في القرآن العظيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. ويقول سبحانه وتعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. ويقول صلى الله عليه وسلم: كل أمتي يدخل الجنة إلا من أبى. قالوا: ومن يأبى يا رسول الله؟ قال: من أطاعني دخل الجنة ومن عصاني فقد أبى. All praise and thanks is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I bear witness that none is worthy of worship but Allah, and Allah alone. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his last prophet and messenger. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam fulfilled the trust, conveyed the message, struggled for the sake of this deen until he met his Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May the peace and the blessing of Allah be upon him, his family, his companion, and those who follow his path until the day of judgment. Allah Azza wa Jal talking to us in the Quran, the believers, a clear command to have taqwa. Who you believe have taqwa, and die not but in a state of a peaceful, peaceful submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to live, muttaqeen, and die Muslimin. That's what we are to be living our life according to the Quran, lived by Rasulullah, or the way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam implemented the Quran and explained the Quran in his Sunnah. My brothers and sisters in Islam, these days, we have a lot of events happening throughout the world and really throughout the country, United States, especially the acts of violence against either the Islamic institutions or individuals. And in the same time, we are also, a big portion of the nation, the African American, are celebrating the Black History Month. My question to myself and my brothers and sisters present today is that we need to answer a very important question. Why am I here? What is the purpose of me in this life, which is understood and answered by the Quran, al-ibadah, and to worship Allah Azza wa Jal, to be Khalifa, and so on and so forth. But the question that I'm really trying to ask is not that. It's not, well, I'm here for the ibadah. That every Muslim can tell you, I'm here for ibadah. Because Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. It's very clear in every Muslim's minds. But we neglect the details of it. And the details of it by that is why I was chosen, me, so and so, from such and such part of the world to be in such and such part in the world today, in America. Why that I was chosen from among millions of Muslims who are not really living a life that we are living in America. Why? What I'm doing, what am I doing? What should I do? What's my mission in this country, in this society, in this community? Each and every one of us, if we want to succeed as a community, as individuals, we have to sit down and ask ourselves, what am I doing? Am I here just to have a better life, a better car, a better house, a better school, a better degree? That's it? Then I'm not fulfilling my mission in life in general in my mission in this country in particular. But am I here to better my life with the above mentioned and to serve my deen, my community, and humanity? If you have to answer that question and look at your life. How do I lead my life? What's in my life? What do I do? What is it serving? My life is serving who? Just me? We're not selfish as Muslims. I'm afraid that's why I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. We're not cowards as Muslims. We're brave. We're not selfish. So this is a very important question. We cannot continue like this. And each and every one of us, particularly the leaders of the communities, those who are leading the communities, they need to know they have to have a plan. We need to have a plan for the community. And I wanted to also, when we look at the Black History Month, when we were given this card last week, probably most of us said, "Wallahi, this is Black History Month, it has nothing to do with me." It has a lot to do with us. Especially us who came in the 90s and the 2000s. Even the 80s. If you were here in the 60s and the 70s, you'll understand the value of this month. Not the month itself. You will understand the mission that was achieved or accomplished by the African American in the civil rights movement. You will understand that because of their efforts, of course, thanks and be to Allah Azza wa Jal first and before all. But because of their efforts and their sacrifice, I'm able to stand here today and we're able to have our mosque and we're able to say whatever we want to say about the government of the United States. Sacrifice were made. It was not cheap. It was not free. And when I look at the Black History Month, that will remind me of Bilal, Suhaib, Ammar. These are the Sahaba who sacrificed for the deen, for our deen. Because of them, their expensive sacrifices, that the deen received us. And we received the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, and we are Muslims today. In the same way, we are thankful and grateful to them. That's why we make dua every time we mention any of their names out of gratefulness to these Sahaba and to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam first and before all. And also when we are living in this country and we know, and if we don't know, we need to know what the civil rights movement in the 60s brought to us today in the 21st century. What I see in these communities, especially the African Americans who led this movement, I see one thing, that it's one of our traits that we need to have. I see bravery. I see courage. It's not easy, my brothers and sisters in Islam. I see another thing. I see that most of these African Americans, when they were brought to this country, were Muslims. Most of them. From the shores of West Africa, particularly Sierra Leone and Senegal and so on and so forth. But because of the suffering and the climate they were in, most of them were either converted or few stayed with Islam. And you see today, they are not too many. Even though they were majority Muslims, today they are minority Muslims among the African American. And that leads me to also think about the generation that comes in 200 to 300 ahead of us. What will happen to them? We shouldn't be satisfied with ourselves having masajid and being Muslims. We should be thinking about future generations. The generations who are my kids and your kids, my grandkids and your grandkids, and so on and so forth. What will happen to them? We will not be there at that time. But did we do the foundation? Did we build the foundation for them to be strong Muslims? And because I have mentioned the bravery and the courage, there's also a group in the Muslim community who are probably the most courageous in the Muslim community. The most brave in the Muslim community. The sisters who wear hijab in these days. The sisters who wear hijab in these days, while they are a clear target to those who hate Islam, are the most brave and courageous Muslim in this country or in the West in general today. And we need to follow their steps to be in that level of courage and bravery. Courage and bravery for us as a Muslim stems from our faith, from our deen, from our Quran, from our Sunnah, from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's why we probably don't have a mission, because maybe we're afraid. Maybe we don't know how to react and act when circumstances are facing us. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أنس رضي الله عنه قال في البخاري: كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أحسن الناس وأجود الناس وأشجع الناس. Three qualities in Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أحسن الناس, whether خلقا or خلقا, most beautiful in the morals or in his physical shape. وكان أجود الناس, the most generous رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. But also he was the most courageous and the most courageous and most brave sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Why? Because like I said, our deen. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he used to make dua, Allah, Allahumma inni a'udhu bik, many things. He said, I seek refuge from many things. But two things, two qualities, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you will find him seek refuge from every time he makes dua. البخل والجبن. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من البخل اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الجبن. I seek refuge from you, Ya Allah, from bukhl, stinginess. I seek refuge from you, Allah, from what? Jubn, cowardness. And that's not when our deen. Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim in al-bay'ah, the bay'at al-aqabah, they said, عبادة ibn al-Walid ibn عبادة ibn عن عبادة ibn Samit, he said that we have given the pledge to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam في العسر على السمع والطاعة, to hear and obey Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. في المنشط والمكره, whether we like it or we don't like it, whether it's an ease or hardship. وعلى أثرة علينا, that we will favor him over us sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَأَلَّا نُنَازِعَ الْأَمْرَ أَهْلَهُ, and then we don't really dispute the matter of leadership for those who deserve it. وَعَلَى أَن نَقُولَ بِالْحَقِّ أَيْنَمَا كُنَّا, and this is the part that I'm interested in. That we will say the truth, whatever we are, circumstances, place, whatever we are. لَا نَخَافُ فِي اللَّهِ لَوْمَةَ لَائِمٍ, we will not fear the blame of anyone when it comes to the truth. We will not hide from the truth, fear of the blame of anyone on this earth. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah يقول, he said, لما كان صلاح بني آدم, when the straightness, when the istiqamah or salah, the reform, the good reform of a human being was based on their deen and their dunya, or in their deen and their dunya were based on two things, two qualities. Al-karam wa shaja'a. Shaja'a, brave, courage, wal-karam, which is generosity. فإن ابن تيمية يقول فإنهم تولوا بأنفسهم وأموالهم أبدل الله بهم من يقوم بذلك. If we feel like that we can hold back with our money and with our words and with ourselves to say the truth and to do the right thing, then Allah Azza wa Jal will replace us with different people who will do this mission in Islam. وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَكُونُوا أَمْثَالَكُمْ. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the hadith. My brothers and sisters in Islam, bravery or courage that I'm talking about, and I'm talking about particularly to the sisters, and I want them to have more courage and more bravery. And the reason I'm saying that, because a week ago, one of the sisters was driving on Irma Drive with her kids, a brave sister, a brave young sister, not born and raised here, but immigrant. She was driving on Irma Drive, and somebody pulled in front of her and slowed down and actually pointed a gun at her. drive. Nobody does that to me or to you or to anybody else. But if you want to know how brave and courageous are the sisters, I challenge all of you to go ahead today or tomorrow and go to the cultural dress and go out to the markets. Not to the weddings and to the social events. To the public places. And look at what the sisters are dealing with. And you understand what I'm talking about that's brave. Wallahi, the reason I'm wearing sometimes all this is just to support the sisters. Because I don't have to wear this. But just to support them and to see what they're going through. We don't do that. We don't know it. We think it's easy. It's not. It's not easy in the regular times, let alone when it's the fear mongers and the hate mongers are just throwing their doses out there to the general public. And the sister came actually and talked to me, and I was impressed with her calm and her bravery and courage. And I understood when the ulama said that bravery and courage is a reason لسبب انشراح الصدر. When you're brave and courageous, you're going to have a peace in the heart. You're going to have it. Try it. And then also said that the shaja'a, the bravery and the courage is the asl of all of the fada'il. All of the good rituals that we know in men and women. I'm saying men and women because usually we just talk about men. And men and women is actually asl. Whether it's in going to rescue others, whether it's having a strong will or steadfastness, whether it's in the patience, whether it's in forbearing, and so on and so forth, that's all a result or stems from that bravery and that courage that Rasulullah ﷺ told us about, and he was the best, and he is the role model. The bravery that I'm talking about, if we teach it to our kids, and it will create in them that pride of a Muslim. They walk down the street with their heads up, not down. Because I'm not in a Muslim country. Because they're brave, they're courageous. And again, I will also, our kids, especially the young kids, especially the young girls who are going to the schools and the high schools and the college and wearing the hijab, it's not an easy thing. We need to commend them for that. We need to encourage them for that, and we need to be with them. And the sister actually mentioned something to me when she came and talked to me, and I felt like she's right, she nailed it, right on the spot. She said to me, and this is for all of the families that lives up here, and particularly the sisters. She said the thing that hurts is that there are many families in this area, but not too many wears a hijab. I feel alone as a sister because she wears the hijab. But if there is all of the sisters, imagine all of the sisters here that wears the hijab and they'll go to a specific market, you will feel comfortable as a sister. You're not going to be feeling, wallahi, maybe this guy say this or this guy say. Even the non-Muslims who hate you will not dare to talk to you if they see many of you. Even the haters, they cannot if they see many of us. And that's why I said last week, the best thing that we can do for our community is to build a masjid or this masjid and move around the masjid and move into the same area of schools and so we become that community, that strong community. We have to move towards that direction. We can't just afford to live the life as it is today and be in the comfort zone and think things that will stay like this forever. And the example of Bosnia is the best example. And it happens in 1992, the 20th century, where the Bosnians themselves would have never thought that their neighbors, the Croatian and will do what they did to them in the 90s. But my brothers and sisters, what I'm talking about is this bravery also. The most important benefit of it, or what it stems from, is that it really measures your level of iman. حسن الظن بالله عز وجل. Do you think good about Allah Azza wa Jal or not? What do you think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you're wearing the turban or the hijab? Do you think that Allah Azza wa Jal is the utmost protector or not? and you do it with that intention, wallahi al-azim, He will protect you, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, we're just reading Quran and Hadith, and it's not. And if you are tested, Allah Azza wa Jal want to test you, and He will reward you on the Day of Judgment, bi'idhnillah. But it's a test. But if you have that intention that you're doing it for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, and to support the cause of Islam, and to support the sisters, wallahi, nothing will happen to you. And that's the cowardness I'm talking about. Cowardness doesn't mean just the battlefield and you go and fight and kill. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a different kind of bravery. I'm talking about a bravery that stems from your belief, that you believe that Allah Azza wa Jal is the Almighty, Allahu Akbar, is the protector. He is, and He is, and He is. And then I do the right thing and I don't really care about anything else. And the other thing that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the one that we need as a community, mostly, is أول كلمة الحق عند السلطان الجائر. Is the word of truth that you say it in front of Obama, even if you know that he's going to take you to jail. You're standing in front of Obama today, and he tells you what's going on with the community. You're not going to say, "Wallah, I'm glad that I'm meeting the president. Let's just take a picture with you, Mr. the President, so I can hang it on the wall in my office and show it to everyone who visits me." That's cowardness. I don't care why you explain it politically correctly, whatever you think about it. But you get an opportunity like that. Obama, the governor of Colorado, the attorney general, the U.S. attorney, the congressmen, the senators, whatever it is. You stand before them, you tell them the truth and what you think. You go to a church, you tell them the truth and what you think about what's going on and what's happening to the Muslim ummah out there and what's happening to the Muslim here today. And that's, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أفضل الجهاد كلمة حق عند سلطان جائر. أفضل الجهاد, the highest level of jihad is that you say the word of truth in front of an oppressor. In another ayah, in another hadith, Sayyid al-Shuhada Hamza. Hamza is the master of the Shuhada. And also the master of the Shuhada is Rajul Qama ila. He goes stand up in front of a ruler and he told him wrong is wrong. This is wrong and this is wrong. فَقَتَلَ. He was killed, and he's saved with Hamza radiyallahu anhu wa ardah. So what I'm trying to say here is that we need to have that courage to say the truth. And you don't have to just go and knock at Obama's office and tell him, well, I want to tell you you're an oppressor, or you're doing this or that. There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways, especially for my young brothers and young sisters, to express yourself in a good way, in an Islamic way. But you say the truth. You say it as it is. And you deliver the message so that others can understand you. The reason that some of these youth, and especially Colorado, you're having some of the youth, they call them in Germany, DIA. Well, most of these young, especially, I'm not saying they're right, but most of the young are misled. And I'm misled by two people. They're misled by the terrorists overseas, and they're misled by their leaders who do not stand up and say the right word, the truth in front of the oppressor or the occupier or whatever it is. They're fed up. The kids, the young, especially those they're fed up with us being politically correct. And this is not how it works in Islam. It's either you are brave or coward. You say it as it is, without doing, and this actually will save us time and generations and a lot of things, and we will actually stand up for our rights in this country. My brothers and sisters in Islam, I have a lot to say about this. I even had some examples from the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from Umar ibn al-Khattab, from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And it's not really about who's tough and who has the muscles. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking the muscles of the brain. We're talking the muscles of the tongue. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the pen. We're talking about picking up the phone and calling. We're talking about when there is a march or demonstration against something that it's against any oppression, whether it's against the Muslims or against any oppression. We go, we take the time. I don't get scared because I'm saying, wallahi, maybe the FBI is taking pictures. FBI, they're all over the place. They're in the masajid, what are you talking about? And they acknowledged it. And they have informants. They have court cases in the courts saying that agents, informants, former informants, suing FBI because they were informants in the masajid. So the idea of, oh, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to because I'm afraid, that's cowardness, it's nothing else. You can find any excuse you want for yourself. But it's not an Islamic attitude. Muslims are brave, Muslims are courageous. And the least today we're talking about is a shaja'a al-adabiyya. That you can say it, you can write it, you can call it, and so on. You call the wrong, the right, and so on and so forth, whatever you are. Without any troubles. And this is, at the end of the day, the land of freedom of expression. It is. So we need to express ourselves. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه ملء السماوات والأرض وما بينهما يا رب. وصل اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. My brothers and sisters in Islam, again, we're talking, this is a very critical time in our community, in the society, especially that's coinciding with the Black History Month, and we need to be active in that area. We need to be involved. We cannot isolate ourselves by ourselves. Nobody's isolating us, but we are isolating ourselves, and we cannot afford to do that anymore. It's not us. It's not us. Our involvement is a tool of defending the miskin al-mazloom. Our involvement is a tool of da'wah. Our involvement for a lot of things. Our involvement is valuable for the society of America. Our involvement is valuable for the ummah throughout the world, the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our involvement, each and every one of us, is important. Do not underestimate your single efforts. And again, there is I don't know if you have it or there's a poster out there. This is the schedule of the celebrating Black History Month done by the Islamic Circle of North America, the Colorado chapter. Jazakumullah khair. They are actually working on this. So please, look at the schedule and attend whatever you can and participate as a Muslim. Allahumma abrim لهذه الأمة أمر رشد يعز أهل الطاعة ويذل فيه أهل المعصية. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها. اللهم يا حنان يا منان يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت. إنه لا يعز من عاديت ولا يذل من واليت. تباركت ربنا وتعاليت. اللهم لا تجعل لنا في هذا المقام المحمود مريضا إلا شفيته ولا ميتا إلا رحمته ولا ضالا إلا هديته ولا عائلا إلا أغنيته ولا مدينا إلا قضيت عنه دينه ولا طالبا للعلم إلا وفقته ونفعت به ولا طالبا للرزق إلا وفقته للحلال ولا ظالما إلا قسمته ولا مظلوما إلا نصرته ولا جاسوسا إلا انتقمت منه بعزتك يا جبار. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استووا.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. الله سمع الله. الله 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 الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. سمع الله. الله 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 السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. I have 3 announcements, and I will start with the last one, but not the least. The announcement is your masjid actually need your financial help, so we need you guys to help the masjid financially so we can continue operating the masjid. Second is, what's the practical step of this one? or we're just going to get a khutbah. And you think it's right, it's good, and then we go home, and the same circle repeats itself. I have a suggestion, and actually I had the suggestion when I was giving the khutbah. Is actually there is a need in Colorado for a care chapter. There is a need in Colorado, and almost every state has a care chapter. When this incident happened, the only thing that we could think of is to call care and see what they think. And we need people from this community who have the time and who have that passion to really defend the Muslims, look after the affairs of the Muslims too. And I will connect you with the executive director of care. I'm not going to be involved in it, to be honest, because I have many things going on. But I need 2 or 3 young people, have the energy, have the time, have the language articulate in their to establish a care chapter in Colorado. I hope that 4 or 5 people of you will come and talk to me today, not next week, not next month. I don't know what they're saying. This Khairul Birri Ajil is in the marriage, but we'll use it here. Khairul Birri Ajil is the faster the better. The other announcement is our brother Haji Nasr and Haji Arif and Haji Yusuf, the Safi brother family. They lost one of their family members last week, Muhammad Asif Safi in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. And there would be actually a Aza or Fatiha, Aza in the Arabic, Fatiha in the Irani, on this Sunday between 2 and 4. Am I making things up? What are you guys? Yeah, 2 to 4. Yeah, I'm looking for you. So the 2 to 4, inshallah, there would be Aza for the Muhammad Asif Safi. And you know the brothers, Haji Nasr is right here, Haji Arif is right here. If you want to just, if you cannot make it, you can give him your condolences today. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يرحمه ويغفر له ويسكنه الجنة. The outside guy. The outside guy, what I would suggest now, give me just a second. What I would suggest now is that when you go home today, call the the Northland Police. Say that this might cause problems for us because we might have altercation between members. We're driving in and he is really in front. So I'm not going to do it, not the masjid, members. If they receive 40, 50, 60, 70 calls, guaranteed they will do something about it. Huh? Not North Milan Police, because we're in North Milan. Call North Milan Police and say, listen, we're trying to go and pray, but we're being bothered and harmed by this guy. We just send him in the gateway. Let's do it the right way. Let's do it the way that the American society works. And this is the best way. Is that why? Tonight we have a lecture at 6:30, inshallah. Yes.
It's just